All right, we just got some big news out of Kentucky. Steve Kornacki is still at the big board. Steve, what's the latest?
Yeah, our decision desk has now made it official, and they are comfortable declaring that Andy Beshear, the Democratic incumbent governor of Kentucky, has been reelected, that he will defeat his Republican challenger, the sitting attorney general, Daniel Cameron. We've been, no surprise if you've been watching all night, we've been seeing county after county come in Kentucky, with Beshear running ahead of how he ran in 2019, not by leaps and bounds, but by several points, just county after county. The pattern very clear at this point. This is a state he won by less than 1 point 4 years ago. He had a very high approval rating, very high personal favorability rating. The Cameron campaign and Republicans had been hoping to attach Beshear to Joe Biden, to the National Democratic Party, both of which remain very unpopular in Kentucky. But it looks like that personal popularity and that high job approval rating for Beshear have won out. He is going to get a second term. He's the second Beshear to get a second term as governor of Kentucky. His father was a two-term governor as well, not that long ago. Just again, we can show you. We got a big batch of votes from Louisville, Jefferson County, core Democratic county. We said this would be a big tranche of Beshear votes. A few of those came in just a little while ago. And you look around the Lexington area, and I think you really see it, though, the improvement for Beshear over last time around. He's running 6 points better in Fayette County, second biggest county in the state, than he did 4 years ago. You look up in Scott County, he's running at 55% basically now. He was under 50 4 years ago there. Take a look at the state capital, Franklin County, where Frankfort is. He got 61% of the vote here 4 years ago. He's at 68.5 with almost 95% in. So that has been the pattern. These big Democratic vote-producing counties, he's getting more votes out of. In Republican counties, he's still losing them, but he's not losing them by as much. It all adds up to what's going to be a victory for Andy Beshear in his second term in the governor's mansion.
You know, one of the things in the lead up to the race, there wasn't a ton of polling, but to the extent we had polling, we looked at approval ratings. This was my understanding, and folks in Kentucky politics, the expectation at least was that heading into night, Beshear was the favorite, that he'd run a pretty good campaign, that he was a fairly popular incumbent. Is that generally your sense?
I would say, yeah, until a week ago. Roughly, or a little bit less. There was a poll that came out at the end of last week that had the race tied.
Yep.
And there was a second poll that came out yesterday that had it at 2 points. And there was a thought that it was possible Cameron changed tactics late in this campaign. He'd been running a very sort of aggressive anti-Beshear campaign. There's some name-calling involved. And toward the end of the campaign, the Cameron folks shifted tactics, and he put an ad up on the air where he talks to the camera, and he says, you know, Andy Beshear's not a bad guy. And then he says, well, but we just have some disagreements. It was a very different tone. And so there was a question when you saw that polling in the final days, if that shift in tone, coupled with the antipathy of Kentucky voters towards Biden, towards the National Democratic Party, if that would add up to a late kick here for Cameron that would close the gap. It may end up closing the gap to a degree that he doesn't lose this thing by what it looked a month ago like he was going to lose it by, but it certainly wasn't enough to get him over the top.
Yeah, it's also interesting. They really did. I mean, I saw some of the ads. I saw the campaign spots. There really was a focus on Joe Biden. There really was like Andy Beshear is Joe Biden's buddy. Andy Beshear and Joe Biden. That was a central thrust, which does not appear to have been effective, at least not to get him over the hump for victory. Steve Kornacki, thank you very much.
Tonight, Kentucky made a choice. A choice not to move to the right or to the left, but to move forward for every single family. A choice to reject Team R or Team D and to state clearly that we are one Team Kentucky. A choice of Jack Harlow over Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And tonight, the people of Kentucky elected me as just the third two consecutive term governor in our history. But folks, this wasn't my win. This was our victory. It was a victory that sends a loud, clear message. A message that candidates should run for something and not against someone. This election shows who we are as Kentuckians. We are a proud people who take care of each other. We believe in the golden rule that says we love our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan that says we are all each other's neighbors, no exceptions.
Unfortunately, it looks like we came up a little short, and I spoke with Governor Reeves just a minute ago and congratulated him on his victory. We want to end this campaign well, and we feel like that we began it well, and we wanted to end it well, and he deserves a congratulation on his victory. This state depends on leadership for the next 4 years on tough issues and things in which we need to see our state move forward, and I give him my best wishes to he and Ely and to his family. I respect the decision of the voters of Mississippi, because that's what makes our democracy what it actually is. I want to take a moment and thank everybody that voted for me tonight. We came up just a little short. It's not lost on me the hundreds of thousands of folks who went into the ballot box and cast their ballot for me, and how appreciative I am to them for taking that time and for getting up and spending the gas and taking off from work and doing the effort it takes to go vote. And I sincerely appreciate every bit of their support. You people in Mississippi on both sides of the aisle, both Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, represent the good parts of our state. You represent the good parts of who we are, and I will always be appreciative of that. I know that you're as disappointed tonight as I am. Adlai Stevenson said it hurts too much to laugh, and I'm too old to cry. And so I understand what he meant. But this campaign was never just about me. And I tried to make that clear in the 11 months that we've been in this race. It's not just been about me. It's been about Mississippi as a whole. And we still have issues that confront our state that are going to have to be confronted that we've talked about throughout this campaign.